I actually went out again today. Oh, I don't know why, but well, actually, I do know why. We want to turn Adrian's bed into a full-size bed. He has a crib right now. He just will not lay in it. If he wakes up, he just screams his head off, and we think it's just because he's closed in. He can't get down. So we went out today to look for a gate because he has a double door on to his room. It's like 64 inches wide. So that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. We can find that. Then we need a full-size mattress and box spring. And evidently everybody had sales on them. Nobody, well, okay, take it back. We didn't want to go to like something insanely like those like specialty stores and buy one, because those are just way too freaking expensive. We went to Costco, they're sold out. Sam's Club, sold out. Even Big Lots, sold out. I'm thinking, yeah, it is right after Black Friday, so that's probably one reason why people are buying things like that. It's kind of odd, though. But then, my wife, she got the new iPhone, the iPhone 7 Plus. She wanted to get a case, so we had to go to the mall. Oh, gosh. It actually, okay, in all honesty, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it was still pretty packed. And then I went into, they actually have a Vans store, like the shoe company. And I was like, oh, cool. Then maybe they'll have the NES shoes. And they had them. And I tried on a pair. And I have really oddly sized feet. I have really wide and really short feet. So, for the size, okay, lengthwise in my shoe, I need like a 9, 9.5, 10. Depending on the company, it varies between a 9, 9.5, and 10. But width-wise, I need like a 10.5 or 11. So, a 10.5 or 11 shoe lengthwise is way too big. So I have to get wide. They're like some shoe companies make wide shoes. So I was like, okay, cool. So I found they brought out a 10 and a 10.5, and I tried the 10 on. It was too long and not wide enough. So I couldn't go down a size because it really wouldn't have been wide enough, and I couldn't go up a size because it was already too long. So I was like, forget it. And it was kind of weird, though. I'm a 38-year-old guy going into a Vans store, which is kind of, it's more of a skateboarder shop. I know it's kind of a lot of skateboarders wear Vans. I actually like Vans, but I've never really been able to find a pair just because of the way my feet are shaped. So I didn't get the shoes. They had some penny skateboards, though. I really want a penny board. They're like I think $50 or something like that. But I really want one, just because it's a short skateboard you can carry around with you. I'm not going. I don't think I'd ever ride it in an airport like Casey Neistat does, or some other people I've seen. But I would like to, like, if I get a job somewhere, it's like close to a restaurant or something like that, you could actually just jump on your skateboard and be there. But in the Apple store, they actually had a DJI Mavic. I think that's what it's called. It's the small drone. That thing looks awesome. I didn't realize how small it was. It is tiny compared to the Phantom or the Maverick, I think is what GoPros is called, or whatever. I can't remember what GoPros is called. GoPros looks really cool too. I like how you have that gimbal that comes out the front of it and everything. But the one from DJI, that thing is awesome. It's $1,000. It's $999.99. So it's $1,000. But yeah, the Apple store was packed. Holy cow. There were just as many people, the Apple employees there, as there were customers. God, it was just crazy. And every single one of them were taken up. So it took forever for us to actually check out. Let's see. What else do we do in the mall? That's about it. So yeah, we went to Disney Store, bought Adrian some stuff, like some pajamas and stuff like that. Then went to Half Price Books, and it was empty. And I was like, that kind of shocked me because they sell video games, board games, all of that stuff like that. But I didn't tell my wife that's dyslexia coming into effect here, because I joke around about that because where I'm from, there is no bookstores, and like where I'm originally from, there are none whatsoever. The only place that's you can actually consider a bookstore is Walmart. And if you go to the library to rent a book, any book, they almost all look brand new. Even the ones that are years and years old, that's been there for like 10, 20 years, they almost look brand new because nobody checks them out. It's crazy. But so yeah, we went in there. I actually found 2 games. One game I've been looking for a long time. Not telling you what it is because I'm actually going to put that in my recent pickups video that's coming next week or a week after, something like that. But yeah, very cool. I actually got my friggin' loot crate in 2 days ago, and I haven't opened it yet because I wanted to do the loot crate video. I just haven't had time yet, and I'm like, it's killing me that I haven't opened this yet. I'm like, ugh. So, but then I went to the other GameStop. GameStop, because they have a buy 2 get 1 free sale, and they just didn't have the stuff I wanted. They had the stuff I wanted new, but I didn't have it used. I was like, eh. So yeah, because what I try, like I said yesterday, I try to buy things that are close to the same price. So if I find a $30 game, I want to buy 3 $30 games. If I buy a $10 game, I want to buy 3 $10 games because you'll get that one free. Because that's what I did with. I bought Room Factory 4, a Zelda game, and another game. They were all $30 used, so it's like $90 worth of games for $30 for $60. I mean, but that's how I try to do things. But they just didn't have any. They honestly didn't have 3 games I wanted. They had Fantasy Life for the 3DS, but it's still $30-some, and it's been out for like 2 years, I think. But I really do want the game, but they didn't have 2 other $30 games that I actually wanted to buy. They had some other games I did want, like the Resident Evil Origins, Resident Evil 0 and 1 for the PS4 and the Xbox One, but I'm not going to. The price difference is so much. I was like, that'd probably be the game I'd got free, and then I'd have to buy another expensive game to kind of compensate. But nah. But then went to the grocery store. Holy cow! Nobody was at the grocery store. I was like, okay. Well, I mean, it's Meijer, so it had like clothes and has a gaming department and everything. But yeah, it was just so. It's like really dead. Does anybody remember in the 90s, like the electronics department was like closed in? Like they had like a little those things like when you leave a store now, like they had that inside the store in the electronics department, so that if you left without paying for something, it beeped while you're inside the store. It's kind of funny. I think about that. Like it's like, oh wow, how different it is. Like now the electronics department's just wide open, but back then it was closed in to where you couldn't take anything out of it. I remember there's a store called Roses that we used to go to, and their electronics department, I mean, it was densely packed, and they had a TurboGrafx 16, and they always had Splatterhouse in it. And this is like I think it's in Kingsport, Tennessee, I believe is where that was, that we would go, and me and my brother would go there to with my family to go shopping. And like when we go there, I'd go in the electronics part and I'd just play the TurboGrafx-16. I'd play Splatterhouse for like an hour, or however long we were in that store, and it was just great. I mean, almost playing the game was, but the way the electronics departments were, you could not like if if there's like, oh, bring me the game and so I can look at and see if I want so I can see if I want to buy it for you. Well, you couldn't. Your parents had to come into the electronics department to look at everything, and sometimes the entrances were so narrow you couldn't get a buggy in, so you had to leave your buggy outside electronics department as you walked in, so you could walk in there and look at something. Oh man! And the worst part is if you wanted to buy something and there's nobody in it in the electronics department, so you couldn't buy anything, and you couldn't take it out. A lot of times, all the stuff was like that you really wanted was behind the counter in the case. Just weird how things have changed. But yeah, that's my memories from growing up going to stores, and that was what all of them were. I mean, Walmart, Kmart, Roses, there, and then there's a Montgomery Ward. Oh gosh, those don't exist anymore. But basically, you'd walk around the floor, and if you wanted something, you'd write the number down on this sheet of paper, for the item number, and then you go to check the cash register, and they check you out. They basically look up those numbers, ring you up, and then you go to this counter that had these conveyor belts coming out, and they basically grabbed your stuff from their back room and brought it to when they gave the conveyor belt, it came out, and the person took it, matched everything up, and gave it to you, and you left. It was expensive too. Montgomery Ward, that was a really expensive place. But yeah, it was always funny because you'd walk around, like you could there was no buggies, no nothing. You just walked around with this pad and you just wrote down what you wanted. It's kind of an odd idea. But yeah, I guess it did prevent people from stealing stuff though, because you couldn't grab anything, and just because if you took anything off the floor, they knew that you were stealing it because yeah, you might be off. There might be videos of Montgomery Ward on the internet, like on YouTube or something. Check them out. I think some people might get a kick out of it if you've never experienced anything like that. The shopping of the past. I remember getting the Sears catalog. Oh God, the Sears catalogs were awesome when you were a kid, because you open it and you see all these pictures of all the toys and everything. Oh man. I wish I could find the old Sears catalogs. If I knew somebody that had them, like from the 80s and 90s. I'd like to have every Sears catalog from probably 1980 to probably 99. I dropped my phone. But yeah, I'd like to have every single Sears catalog from like I was saying, to 99, because it'd be awesome just to go back and look at all the things that I looked at. I actually found a website that had some of them on it, and me and my wife were looking at it, and when we saw the toy section, we actually remembered those sections. And before we go to the next page, me or my wife would say, I bet the next page is this. And when we turned it, we remembered the layout and everything, because we remembered looking at these magazines for so long when you were a kid. And when we knew what was on the next page before we even turned it. It's crazy. And it was like it brought so much nostalgia back. It was crazy. I'd love to have those things just to look at and to see what was. And actually, when I go to places like Half Price Books, stuff like that, they have the used magazines and stuff. I look for Sears catalogs. I do, but I've never found one. But I'd love to find one. So I'd love to find them. Like, I see them on eBay, but they're so expensive. I'm like, it's a friggin' catalog that, I want it, so other people must want it for nostalgia reasons too. But gosh, there's so many of them that were out there, but most have been thrown away over the years. But yeah, those would be awesome to have right now. Because, just because you could actually look through it and remember the toys that you played with and the things that you actually had, because they were just awesome. But yeah. I'm reminiscing too much. I want to go into talking about the real Ghostbusters and Exo Squad and all the other stuff that toys I used to play with, or G.I. Joe. I'm going to stop right there, because if I don't, I will. And like, I actually still have a lot of my toys and stuff like that. Like, I've got like some G.I. Joes over here on my shelf. And there's these, if you don't, the G.I. Joes are pretty much that size. They articulate a lot better than these, but they are very, very cool. It's one of my favorite toys. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully the traffic and stuff will not be bad for this Christmas time, because if it's like today, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. But see you guys tomorrow.